I had been out of town for work for 2 weeks, returning home tired but excited to see my wife, Laura. We had shared plans for the weekend. A quiet dinner, maybe a movie, just time together. I opened the door, expecting her smile, her familiar warmth. Instead, I was met with silence. "Hey!" I said softly, setting down my bags. She looked at me, her eyes wide, hands trembling slightly. "We need to talk," she said. My stomach tightened immediately. Something was wrong. I had learned over the years that tone. She led me to the living room, where she sat down, taking a deep breath. "I'm pregnant," she said. My heart stopped for a moment. That was the first part one wasn't expecting. "And," she hesitated, "it's not yours." Time froze. The room felt smaller, the air heavier. My first instinct was shock, hurt, anger. I felt my mind racing through 1,000 possible reactions, each one sharper than the last. But then I looked at her, scared, anxious, and still wanted to be honest with me. And I realized something crucial. I could yell. I could accuse. I could let my emotions explode and ruin whatever dignity remained in the room. Or I could respond with clarity, calm, and honesty. So I took a deep breath, steadied myself, and said, "Thank you for your honesty." Her eyes widened, a mix of relief and surprise washing over her face. "You're not mad?" she whispered. I shook my head. "I'm hurt, yes. I'm shocked. But I appreciate that you told me the truth instead of hiding it. That matters." We sat in silence for a while, letting the weight of her confession settle. I remembered all the times I had trusted her, loved her, and hoped for the future we had planned. None of that erased what she had done, but it gave me a perspective I hadn't realized I needed. Honesty and betrayal is still a form of respect. Over the next few days, we talked extensively. I asked questions, seeking understanding, not revenge. She explained the circumstances, the mistakes, and the guilt that had been eating at her. I listened without judgment, though I made it clear that boundaries had changed and trust had to be rebuilt, if it could be. I also realized that my response, calm, dignified, composed, gave both of us a chance to process the truth without letting emotions spiral out of control. I could grieve what had happened while still maintaining my integrity. I could protect my heart while acknowledging hers. In the weeks that followed, I decided on a path for myself. I wouldn't continue the relationship as it had been. The breach of trust was too great. But I wouldn't respond with bitterness, revenge, or public humiliation. I would move forward with grace, learning from the experience, and prepare myself to rebuild my life in a way that honored my values. She eventually moved out, leaving the house with the weight of her mistakes and the knowledge that our future as a couple was over. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to. The lesson was already mine. Honesty may not erase betrayal, but it provides clarity. Clarity allows a person to make the next move with dignity, even in heartbreak. Months later, I reflected on that night and my response. I realized that saying, "Thank you for your honesty," had changed everything. It didn't excuse what she had done, but allowed me to respond as the person I wanted to be, strong, calm, and composed. I hadn't lashed out, I hadn't been cruel, and I hadn't allowed myself to be dragged into bitterness. Instead, I had reclaimed control of my own life. I had chosen my own reaction, my own dignity, and my own future. And in that choice, I found strength I didn't know I had. Life moved forward. I focused on myself, my career, my friendships, and eventually my happiness. I met new people, pursued passions I had put aside, and rebuilt the parts of my life that had been overshadowed by this betrayal. I never forgot her confession. I never forgot the shock, the pain, or the clarity that came with it. But I also never forgot my response, calm, honest, and composed. That small moment of integrity became a defining point in my life, shaping the way I handled challenges, heartbreak, and betrayal thereafter. In the end, I learned a powerful lesson. How we respond to honesty in the face of betrayal defines us more than betrayal itself. Saying thank you may seem small, but in that moment, it carried the weight of dignity, strength, and the choice to rise above the pain. And that choice, calm, steady, and self-respecting, changed the course of my life forever.